Hello everybody, in today's episode on Grainificent, I will be showing those who have Photoshop and like editing in Photoshop how to edit your negatives, color negatives, in Photoshop. As you see, I got two windows open because if you don't have any photos of the film edges to get the film base off of, it could be a little bit harder with the colors. So I always suggest when you're taking photos of your film negatives to take a photo containing the empty space between the frames. So you can take the color from between them so you can get rid of the film base very easily. So let's start from finding the color of the film base. The way we will do this is first we should invert the colors here. So you take a new adjustment, curves, and on RGB, we just take the blacks, raise them all the way up, and we take the whites and we raise them all the way down. When we reverse the film, we want to find the film base color here. We have to make sure we mark the photo, and with the color picker, we find the film base color. As you see, there is some film base color here, but not much of it. When you see here that there's evident that the light leaked from the photo over here a bit, because you see this place is a little bit brighter, don't pick from colors like this because it's going to screw it off completely. Pick it from the cleanest spot you have to make sure. Now, some film bases, when developed correctly and taken photos of correctly, won't have much of a color cast on here from the film base. But some films will give you a very evident color cast. Like you see here, the colors aren't any bit strong, but we will do this step so you will know when you have a film that was developed a little bit differently, or from some type of scanning it did have a color cast, so you know how to do this step. So from any of these clear spots, pick any color. And now going back to our original photo, let's first crop it and correct it so we have it nicely corrected. There we go. And now turn around the image a little bit so it's upright. So we go to Image, Rotate Image, and let's say 90 degrees right. And there we go. So now let's invert the colors. Again, we go to Adjustments, Curved Layer, and we raise the blacks all the way up, and we lower the whites all the way down. And as you see, we don't have much of a color cast over here on this photo, but it might be just a smooch purple coming into, or blue or something like that. So instead of playing with the sliders, we do a new corrective layer. And with this first option here, it will be cover color or something like that, because that's the color we chose with our color picker from the other image. So it should be already saved over here, and okay. And of course, we want this to cover our entire image. So make sure it's covering our entire image. And let's say cover 80%. That's usually the amount that's enough. So you could see through our image. And we choose not normal mixing, but subtract. And now with this, we go again into the curves. With that color subtracted, we first go into red channel this time, and holding Alt button, or if you're on Mac, holding Option button, the right hand Option button, you see the screen turns black. Well, we lower the white point. Well, that's actually raising the red color. We raise the red point until there is burnout red showing on the image. As you see, we don't care about the frame of the image. Like you see, the frame shows up first. We want to see it start showing up on the image like you see here. So we back it off until there is nothing, no red burnout showing on the image. Something like that. Now we do the same thing for green. Holding Alt or Option on Mac, we raise the green highlights down until we start seeing burnouts. There we go. So we back off just so there's no burnouts, just like that. And now we do the same thing with the blue. Alt or Option on Mac. We move this to the left. There we go. We see burnout starting showing through. So just back it off just a smooch. There we go. And as you see, this photo is starting to look a lot better now. And with the full RGB, we can do the same. Holding Option on Mac or Alt, we just raise it until we see burnouts appearing and back it off just a bit so you see there's not much needed. And now you got a photo where there's no burnt out spots. You got nice blacks, nice detail in the shadow, good detail in the whites, and in the clouds here. This film now has perfect range from the darks to the whites. As you see, this film photo is taken in the shadow, and you got the sky, because as you see, there's good detail in the shadows, and great detail in the clouds. So everything is perfect. And we could do a new adjustment on a curve layer. And you could do the S-curve, standard S-curve, taking the shadows a little bit lower so it looks more natural, taking the highlights a little bit higher so it looks more natural. And see, this photo now, let's see the before and after from contrast. That was before adding the contrast, the S-curve. It's a little bit flat. And this is after adding the S-curve on the contrast. It looks more realistic. The colors are much better because before you had a little bit washed out colors. It was good overall, but a little bit flat. Adding the S-curve makes the colors look sharper, the sky look better, the darks are more realistic, they're not so bright. Overall, the image is beautiful. So let's see all the different steps we had to take. From the negative, we inverted the colors, deleted the film base color. We corrected all the channels separately and the main RGB channel to get the colors aligned. And with the final touch, we did the S-curve to get beautiful colors. So if your sky here looks to you a little bit unnatural, what you could do is go to saturation layer over here. You should do this before you add contrast. So let's move this under the contrast layer and turn off the contrast for now. You could change the color here to a little bit more blue, so that adds a little bit more purple to the photo, but that's not that big of a difference. You could take the brightness of it a little bit higher and the saturation a bit down, and then add the contrast. And that's how our new photo looks. The sky is more natural, because now let's turn those corrections off. You see now the sky is a little bit too cartoonish, fake. With that correction, the sky is more natural, and that as well gets rid of some sky color casts on the rest. So if you like doing that, you could do that. If you like the sky how it was, of course, you could keep it like this as well. It's your art, your creativity. You do whatever you like with it. So it's always a good track to name the layers so you know what layer serves what. So this was the background. This was color inversion. This is film base color cast. This was RGB correction. This was sky correction. And the last one was S-curve contrast. And the good thing you could do is you could mark all those layers, copy them, Control C or Command C on Mac, open a new document, A4 document, let's say, Control V or Command V, and delete the basic background that we had here. Yes, with all those settings, what we can do here is now we could save this. Where do we got save as? Here, save as, editing current Photoshop, let's say, and we could save as color film correction for, and your film type that you're correcting this from, Fuji color Superior 400 there. So next time when you take an image, let's delete this layer so we can have a pure photo. We could open the color corrections we had. It opens up this window. We could copy those settings, Control C or Command C, go into our photo, paste them here, Control V or Command V, and we click OK. And all those settings are already applied to our photo. Of course, they're not perfect. If it's the same film from the same roll, the color base will be identical. If it's the same exact film but from a different development or scanning, just in case, you should get a sample of the film base because it could be different depending on development. The RGB correction again will be a little bit off, so you will have to correct those. But when you do all the corrections, of course on this photo there is no sky here to correct, so we could get rid of that correction or keep it in because of course the sky does create some casts over here. But using those same settings, you don't have to remember the process. You will have everything aligned already in order, so you just go into each setting and do the changes appropriate to that film. So when your photo is ready, you can go to File, Export, Export as, JPEG. You can choose the quality. I always go with the highest quality. And when it loads, you can click Export, choose where you want to save it. Let's save it there, and it will be exported to that place. So if you like this video, please remember to hit the like button because that helps out the channel a lot. And please subscribe to see more film-related videos, editing negatives, developing film, darkroom stuff, and other film-related content. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video, my friends. Take care.